Welcome to day 2 of our 5-day Write With Me. So today we are going to be focusing on character and world building. So that's all this is going to be, filling out those cards. I would also like to play around instead of just doing the one story that I'm going with. I would like y'all to know, or like y'all to suggest other genres that we can play around with and kind of brainstorm ideas on. Again, just to help y'all with different genres. So I don't have questions on that. You'll have this link right here, and this is what you're going to see me using. Now, for those who are unaware, ChatGPT is currently down. Let's see. Is it still down? Where we go? Yep, so still down. Now, when I tested it, Quick Chat was still working fine. So hopefully it remains that way. But this is something I wanted to play with inside of ChatGPT, but I guess we'll have to try it in Quick Chat. Hopefully it'll help. Any questions on brainstorming or anything we covered yesterday, maybe didn't cover? Ooh, thank you. Forgot all about that. There you go. There's the link to the document. Only changes I made was I made this nice and colorful for y'all to see, and I added in a couple of prompts right there. This is what I was trying to work with in ChatGPT when it went down. So we'll see how that goes. So I did decide to go with the MC Stalker romance, probably to no one's surprise. I will keep it clean. Don't worry, I won't get all naughty on y'all like I normally like to do for my books. The only thing I did was I took that original synopsis that y'all saw me create yesterday. I changed Zane's name to Asher. I like that better. I put that original synopsis here in Braindump. Didn't really change anything other than the names. And then I just told it, to keep it dark. And that's generated a second synopsis. So obviously, if I was really sitting down to write this and get it published, there's a whole lot here that needs to be fleshed out. A lot of very vague plot points right now, especially about Jade's backstory, things like that. I'm just trying to think of things I would cover to flesh it out more without y'all actually having to sit here and watch do that. So I would want to know Jade's backstory. I want her to have some sort of troubled past that she's running from. I would get that finalized, nailed down, incorporated into here. The strange gifts, I did ask Quick Chat. I didn't like its suggestions, but I think I would like to focus on what could these be and see how to tie that into the story nicely. And of course, fleshing out the motorcycle gang, which we're going to do a little bit of. Right. Some other things I did. I used my naming GPTs. I'll just show you here what it came up with. So I asked it for names for all of the cast. Gave me these. I'm liking some of these. I especially liked how, where is it? So it came up with this one, a town mechanic, and it already gave me an idea for the next book, focus on these people for the next book. So this was good. I would definitely be incorporating some of this to flesh out my story better. More characters. And I'm just going to show you all the other ones I did. Some of these didn't come out right. So this was, I was asking for town names to change it up. I don't believe I settled on anything. And this was asking for different names for the motorcycle gang. And again, I didn't really settle on anything. But those are things I would take into account. Actually, kind of like a few of these. But we're going to keep it simple. I can always play around with this if I decide to write the story. We open chat back up. All right. So when you go to characters, yes, in the, here, let me link this document to you because it has them all, I think. So in this document, I'll link to you the Sudowrite plugins. There is a characters and settings down here. There we go, the name my character ones. I have 3 different versions. I actually have a cast one too, so let me grab that for you and then I'll link that to y'all. And I love it. To me, that's coming out with some better stuff than just the AI regular. There you go. The story here. So again, today we're going to play around with the characters. Now for those new to the character cards, this right here comes up if you do not have any characters. If I were to generate a single character, I would no longer have this generate all characters button. This will look at my synopsis. If I do not have anything in synopsis, it will look at brain dump and generate a cast of characters for me. And before I do that, I actually want to pop into that one that I liked. This isn't going to make any sense, probably my story. Might not pull it in correctly, but I do want to drop this in here. Let's see if it'll fit right here. And yeah, it just fits. Okay. So I'm just going to drop these in. Again, this could very well throw some things off. But y'all know better. Y'all know what's going on. Let me see. Actually, you know what? I'll just delete these so there's no chance. And I'll just have my additional characters. Yeah, I like that. So again, characters and world building, they both look at synopsis. If you do not have anything in synopsis, it will look at brain dump. So meaning you aren't stuck with just this. If you want more words for it to take into consideration before it generates those cards, just put everything in brain dump. You can then turn around and put additional information. For example, something I have found that works really well for me is instead of story information here, I will put similar to our old character descriptions. So this might be a character with just a brief couple of sentences about them, description, role in the story. I will repeat that for all the characters I have in mind and settings. So my synopsis box won't have any of this type of information, no story information. Instead, it will just have brief character and setting descriptions. And then I'm loving the results of generating my cast from that. Play around with it, see what you prefer. And then, of course, after I've generated my cast, I can go back in synopsis, put my story information to generate the outline. But that is something I found I prefer. So before we generate, where are my customized cards? Let's see. All right. So before I generate, I'm going to go to my customize, make sure all my character stuff is right. Again, for the newcomers, these field names can act as your prompts. So you see here, describe their dialogue, speaking style. I'm telling it what to focus on when it describes their speaking style. This physical description, I think I actually had something else I wanted to do. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to copy this real quick. This holds up to 30 words or 300 characters, whatever I said in the original characters session after release, that is the accurate one. I need to go back myself and listen just because now I'm doubting myself. Yeah, you can make these act as prompts for the AI so it focuses on something when it fills those in. So I have my simple line of dialogue. I love this. If you are not giving the AI an example of how your character speaks, you're missing out on some uniqueness right there. This has made all of the difference in the world in my characters actually sounding different. So this is something you're going to see me play with today. And then, of course, have whatever else in the story that you want. Let me plot this one up here. And I'm just going through making sure I don't have anything I don't want. Okay. This is good. I'm going to save the new defaults. And then I'm just going to have it go ahead and generate all the characters. Thank you, Tomas. 300 characters. Yes, so it serves as a prompt, those field titles. So while that's generating, because it can take a while to generate the cast, I'll go in here and show you, for example. Oh, I should have done this. So in my card right now, I think I just have something like this, but instead I can put this entire thing to guide the AI more. I'm wanting it to focus on physical actions, you know, things like that. One of the other things I want to play with today, I was actually going to do with ChatGPT, so I don't think I'll get around to this today. But for those who are comfortable with ChatGPT or even want to play in quick chat doing this, here's an idea for you. This is a brainstorming card I made. Let me see if it's finished. It's not finished. Now I'm wondering how bad this will be. If the
When it's done, somebody wants to know how many credits that cost.
okay, the average I found is like 30K. Well, a lot's going to depend on how many characters, but we'll definitely check. Okay, so since that's still going, so this is something I did inside Sudowrite. I created a card. I called it, I think, brainstorming card or something along those lines. Something very obvious. And then I put all of these in, each one of these as the name. So again, when the AI generated the culture and society, it listened. So this is part of essentially my prompt, telling it what to focus on and what to give me. Something I wanted to do today, again, ChatGPT went down, I couldn't. I was going to upload this file into ChatGPT, and I'm telling y'all this so y'all can do it yourselves, play around for whatever you need. But I was going to upload this file to ChatGPT and tell it to modify the trait fields and the descriptions and instructions to fit whatever genre I need. So for instance, this one's very good for fantasy, sci-fi. I want to focus more on some brainstorming for, like, let's say a thriller, the mafia, romance, whatever I want to focus down on. So I can name each card mafia brainstorming or, you know, thriller brainstorming, fantasy brainstorming, etc. So that I know I can have that brainstorming card and it's more aligned with that genre. Now, the reason for doing this, and this is just me, I love to get ideas from the AI. What I have found is with that card, okay, finished, and I'm going to show y'all that card before we continue. 21,952. And it gave us nine characters. And we'll look at how well they turned out in a minute. Let me show you. I think I have it in this one. May have deleted it. We'll go in and customize so you can see it. So again, I just put that brainstorming, the exact same things that you saw listed there. Each one of those is in a field here. With this card, I don't even need to give it a bunch of story information. Let's say I really, really want to write a fantasy story about unicorns and dragons, but I have no clue what I want. There's just so many ideas or absolutely zero ideas. That brainstorming card will actually generate all of those fields for me. All I've found I've needed is to put in synopsis or brain dump is basically the unicorns versus dragons and give it my genre. So that's what I've been doing with the brainstorming card, just a quick one-shot idea thing, generation, whatever you want to call it. Can you, okay, so we got that. Let's see how well it did now. Okay, so first of all, it left out the group, the MC game. No big deal. I don't use groups too much anyways. See, personality, dark and twisted personality. A lot of these I would change, but the AI worked with what I gave it because remember, I have not fleshed out this story. So I don't think I really want them ruling through intimidate. I want them kind of as protectors of the town, but also they don't care about the law. So that is definitely on me that as of right now, it's not following what I have in my mind. Little background. This is something I would probably delete, not even mess with. These little phrases like this, don't underestimate how heavy they can get brought into your prose. That would definitely start making things cliche and cheesy. Numerous tattoos. And this makes me think for bikers, especially if you're doing a lot of biker romance. Most of them do have tattoos. It would probably be a good idea to either, in my physical description, ask for some tattoo descriptions of tattoos or have its own little field. Describe any tattoos this character has. So it's not too bad. Often twirls a silver ring on his finger. This one came out pretty good. I would adjust this one. Maybe, I'm not sure yet. Not bad. Right, piercing. At least it's not piercing blue eyes. Maybe he can have piercing green eyes for once. All right, so the first thing I like to do is go to that line of dialogue in my story, in all my characters. And honestly, I spend a good deal of time here trying to nail down the lines of dialogue. One thing I do like to do, and if ChatGPT is still down, it's not going to work. Right, too true. Well, that's different. So we're going to stick with quick chat and hopefully it works. So I'm going to copy, I want to copy my synopsis. I can see my characters. Let's put this here. So this is something I like to do in ChatGPT. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the high quality. And I'm going to ask it to give me a sample conversation between my characters. So let's see how well it will do. Thank you, Tomas. Anybody have any questions on anything so far?
Can you show how much to generate cast costs and credits?
That was 21,952. Sorry. There you go. And just so y'all can see my plugin stuff, I used the Mixtral version. There's a couple others, but that's how cheap the Mixtral was. All right, so as for a sample conversation, in case y'all want that prompt. So it's going to have them gathered at some sort of town meeting, as it's one of the few places they could all feasibly be in the same room. And I'm just reading through this real quick. So are y'all in agreement that these really sound very similar? Like right away, I'm seeing the two ladies, Jade and Mia, sound the same. The bikers sound the same. There's nothing really standing out, right? So this is the point where I would start going back and forth. Very polite bikers. Sorry, let me just type this into chat so y'all have the reference. There you go. All right, so now I would tell it they all sound the same. I need them to be more distinct. And then I would also start going into any ideas I had for some of them. So if I know I want Asher to speak a certain way, I would put that here. If I know I want Jade to speak a certain way, same thing. I don't have to go through that for each one, but if I can start guiding it on some characters, the quicker I get to the end result that I'm wanting. So I'm going to tell it just a couple of them here.
Alexa, read my notification. Lisa, there's one.
Thank you. So for the sheriff, honestly, this is throwing me for some reason. I know it's a small little detail, but I don't like this. They're out of control. I don't like the little informality to him. To sound formal. Let's see, Asher. So he's our main guy.
Nicole,
Yes, sir.
what would you type into Chat GPT to get all of these characters' information in it so that it could create these prompts for you or these dialogues for you?
So I would put my brain dump or synopsis, whichever one I had at the time, or whichever one I thought might give it some more details, tell it the genre that I'm writing. Yeah, still down. Let me think real quick.
Okay,
And I'll
you
type
would
it in.
basically give it the information that Sudowrite has in the story Bible
Right.
inside your prompt inside Chat GPT.
I'll copy this into chat too, but I just want to make sure I add it to the document as well. So here is my. Here's the downside to this and going directly into Chat GPT. As of right now, we don't have that export option that is coming for our characters. Before, I could just easily copy from my character box and I would say, here's my character descriptions as well. So I am going to put that in there, but right now, it's very difficult without that export and just generally unfeasible. So that's why I would say try Quick Chat first.
Thank you.
You're welcome. that pretty much what I said. Let me copy this just to make sure. It comes out exactly the same. Right, so this should do the trick for you. And then after that, it would just be going back and forth like you're seeing me do now. Okay, so Asher should sound. Excuse me for the language, but that's something y'all need to learn with AI. If you want it to use that type of language, you use it. That's especially important when we get to beats and stuff. I want it to flat out know, this is how I envision that person. Make them sound that way. And I think that's pretty much it for all I have. I don't care about the others yet. I don't have any idea in mind. I would want to flesh them out to, especially for when they get their own book. But for right now, I'm just getting the sheriff, Asher, and Jay down. And we see here, I can tell y'all that context checker that Sudowrite is working on for the future. This is a good place to note how it could be used. These are for us, from us brainstorming those other genres, the horror and whatever else it was. I think this was the unicorn one. There's no reason for it to be looking at those. Yes, it's in my project, so it doesn't know that. It doesn't realize that that was for a whole different story. With that context checker coming, I should be able to then tell it not to look at these two. They have no impact on it. So that's a little bit better, maybe a little bit too formal. And again, this is why I spend so much time. I will go back and forth until I am absolutely 100% happy with that dialogue. If it's 50% there, that's not good enough. If it's almost there, still not good enough. Come up with something that you're happy about. You're like, yes, this is exactly how I imagine this character speaking. I do like Asher's. I'm not liking Jade's either, so I would definitely mess with hers a little bit more. But we aren't going to spend all the time on dialogue here. Just want y'all to know what I would be looking at. I love this one. Yeah, so I'm liking these a lot better. What do y'all think? Let me copy this.
People in chat say it's better.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm just going to, and again, I would keep going through until I'm happy with these. But then my next step would be putting these into I actually didn't like any of these. Wait, did it copy it twice? Oh, that's weird. Maybe I did it twice. Yeah, so I would copy these after I like them into the each character's card. Something else you can do is brainstorm. Let me drop down to here real quick. Can't remember how much brainstorm holds, but I can go into brainstorm.
Brush your teeth.
For those who haven't played with Brainstorm, it doesn't matter which box you go into, they all will do the same thing you see here. Oops, hit the wrong button. If I go into dialogue, I can go into world building. I can go into world building, ask for dialogue. I can go into dialogue, ask for world building. They all have the same exact boxes. The difference is each one is pre-filled to give you ideas of what you can input. That's the only difference. So it doesn't really matter which one you go into. So if you don't want to go in and have to erase anything, just plop into this something else.
Nicole,
Yes, ma'am.
somebody wants to know, what do you mean by copy them into each character card?
So those lines of dialogue that we just went through, just created? Yes, exactly, Adam. So once those lines of dialogue here, oops. Whenever I would go into Mia's card, copy Mia's line of dialogue into that trait that I have where I say sample line of dialogue, I would put that here. I'm actually going to use, let's see, give me a list of let's see how well this one does with nothing in there. Nope. Nope. Do you like it? Nobody that knows me is surprised. This one's okay. It needs some work, needs some tweaking. I could also, come up here and make some modifications to it. So let me save and exit those. And then I have here better lines if I want to use those. Let's see. This is what made me love Brainstorm for dialogue. So I'm going to use one for my other story. So give me a list of witty one-liners. And I'm going to start off basic, and then I'm going to actually put an example in so y'all can see the difference. Hopefully it cooperates and doesn't make a liar out of me. But in this instance, the assassin I was testing this with is actually from Texas, so
Cole, when you're in Brainstorm, what areas of the Sudowrite environment is it looking at?
it is not looking at anything actually. So that's why it helps to put some context and examples especially.
Okay, thanks.
That could possibly change in the future. I don't know if they have plans on connecting Brainstorm. I know they have plans on connecting the other tools, but. All right, so I got I'm wanting witty one-liners the assassin would say when he's threatened, letting them know it's from Texas, speaks with that southern drawl, and he has a dry, dark sense of humor. So I'm not going to put an example right now. I'm hoping this cooperates and I can show y'all the difference it makes putting an example of what I'm wanting versus not. So I like a couple of these. This one would actually work perfect since in his story he's going up against another assassin. So I have these saved now. Just giving y'all a little glance. And then I'll go back and I actually put in an example of dialogue and we'll see the difference. So, oh, I cannot put examples here after the fact. I would like to be able to do that. So I'm going to take a screenshot real quick and let them know for our feature request. I'm just going to start over then real quick. And let's see how it does with an example. And then we're going to move on, I promise. How's that, Miss Lynn? Good for Texas?
That's good for Texas, yes.
All right. Let's see if there's a good little difference here. I really just wish he'd go away. Okay.
Hello, bird.
What do y'all think? Noticeable difference? To me, they're actually sounding the same. I do love this one though. Yeah, these actually sounded pretty similar. So I maybe nailed my prompting better right here. Oh, I like, okay. Look, I can play with this. I can play with Dalton's character all day. He's one of my favorites. I'm just gonna keep, okay, let's stop. One more, then we'll stop. Okay. All right, so again, get the lines of dialogue you are absolutely 100% in love with for your character, copy it in. I promise y'all, it's made all the difference in the world for me to have that example line of dialogue for my characters. So play around with those. Again, y'all have this. Did I link it? Oh, it's in the sheet, but just in case. Play around with those. Get your prompting down. Let's jump down to world building real quick. What all do I have here? These were from other stuff. Let's do the brainstorming one. Let's see, this is MC game. So I'm going to put, I typically do Mafia, so I'm going to name it Mafia. So again, I just typed there. That's it. It doesn't look like you can type it. I don't even know if y'all can see the wording, but, and then you click create. So now I have a new template and I am going to come over here. Again, I would have gone into ChatGPT, asked it to modify this for me, but there is one that'll be kind of close to it. So I'm going to go to settings here. I made a note in the template, but just in case, get rid of the colons. They did find that was an issue. All right, so we have secrets. I don't actually want secrets, but I'll do the external threats. I'm just going to go in and add these real quick. aren't perfect because I am trying to get through this. I have a town one I also want to show y'all. I'll show y'all what that looks like. That's one of my favorites to use. And these are endlessly customizable to whatever you want. I know it says Mafia. I'm going to treat this like the MC and what I would need. So basic information. Actually, I want to give it instructions. I want to say motorcycle because I have found, for whatever reason, it seems to sometimes be thinking MC means main character. So I'm going to actually spell that out, motorcycle. Okay. So again, I'm telling it what I want it to consider and fill in. So I want to know the lore and history of the motorcycle gang and their current role and status in the town. I don't think we need to clarify that. It's good. Key locations. I had better wording for this somewhere. Actually, don't want that one.
While you're typing, I wanted to confirm there's no way to take all these cards and get them out of here in a text format until they create that import-export thing, right?
As far as I know, I do want to say maybe it was Brett or somebody though in Discord actually had a little workaround. So you might want to ask in Discord.
Okay.
Law enforcement. So I'm going to tell it. How do they interact with the local gang? Stacy, didn't I hear you on earlier? Are you there? Oh, thank you, Brandon. All right, so there may be an issue with the question marks. I think Stacy had mentioned she was having issues with it, so if y'all do
Yeah.
these, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Question marks and before also semicolons and colons. They said something about the AI saw it as a end of a command, I think it was.
So I'm gonna be weird and put a period there.
Question marks running up against the templating engine.
So I wanna know how the local police interact with them. Are there any corrupt law enforcement? In the pocket. And these are all ways you can customize things. for your fields. Power and politics. I'm gonna leave that one the same. So I have it down here. And I am just going to click that and have it done. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Ignore what I just did. So just clicking it here is going to give you the blank card like this for you to fill in. We want to generate the elements. And then I could also tell it something in particular here if I had any specific instructions. There's nothing in particular I want, so I'm just going to let it go. And then after this generates, I'll show you the cost and I'll show you some of the other world building templates I have done to give you ideas. So the Ravagers, Iron Fist Bikers, I'm wondering where it got that from. So right away, I don't like that. Typical MC gangs, they go by one name, so I would not use that at all. Okay, basic information. Been a dominant force in the town for over 2 decades, founded by a group of ex-military men. Okay, so obviously adjust all of these. Federal law enforcement agencies have started taking an interest. I like that. Key locations, we got a dive bar, front for laundering money. Okay, not bad. They have legitimate businesses as well as illicit activities. Pretty good. What y'all think? Y'all like this? Definitely needs tweaking, but again, I haven't fleshed out this story to perfection.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Right away, I could see this is probably off though, because if this is Jade's last name, and if she's escaping to this town, there was no hint in the synopsis of her actually being from that town or anything, so this might not fit. I would change this. Yeah, I would definitely change this to Asher's family. Okay. So it gives you an example of how you control the prompting. And again, just take those ideas from the different templates, see what you like. But for examples of others, let's see, what have I done? Okay, no, Jack the Ripper has one. So in the Jack the Ripper, may have deleted the others. So this was an example. If you're having, say, an office, a home, any certain type of rooms that you're constantly using in your scenes and you want the AI to keep details accurate, don't be afraid to create a card for that setting, and then you can describe the layouts and things like that. So that was just a little example. I made one for Whitechapel. You know, I wanted it to definitely have that feeling of the time of the Jack the Ripper. So I gave it some information here. This is some crime scene information here. This was a fail at generating something. I definitely have better ones. I'm wondering why my Jack the Ripper looks like it didn't actually save, or I put it somewhere else. Something I did the other day. Yeah, sorry, it's not in here. I don't know why. I'll have to find it. But something I did the other day was in my Jack the Ripper characters. Of course, y'all know the story. I actually had Here we go. Yeah, this is it. So this is going to be graphic, y'all. Sorry. But we have the characters that died, right? Something I tried out was putting the circumstances of death. And then this is just grabbed from like Wikipedia and stuff like that. I put in all of the details of, you know, the forensic report, things like that. Time of death, all of those little things. So it could bring in those details into prose and make it more immersive. Another one, let me go into. Did I show y'all that activity? Generate element from that one that we did, that was 1600. But let me show y'all the town template. All right, so I have my town right here and settings. Let me see what I did for setting. So you see here in my setting, I also did this. But my town is my favorite one. So I customized this one for the location, general environment of it, and physical descriptions. So in this, I can actually prompt it for, give me 3 key locations with the climate, weather, and unique features. Things like that. And this is what I get from the town. So we have Silver Shore, the name. This is actually the name of the key locations. The reason I did this is because the AI needs to immediately see something either in this name right here or in these names to pull information from that card. This was something we tested, still in beta. So there's Silver Coast Highway, the Bluffs, and Ocean Point, and those are the key locations here. If I did not have that in the other names, I would need to do a card for each one and name it up here. But this way, when I'm talking about Silver Shore, when I mention it, it can find this card easily, look at the details. Plus now with these other names right here, if I mention Ocean Point, it can come to this card and it can look for anything in relation to Ocean Point. And it will pull that up for me. So these are the kind of things you can do with the cards. And this just is barely scratching the surface, y'all. Just showing y'all some stuff real quick. The regular setting one. So it shows here different parts of the story, those things that I asked for, all of that. So going back to our other one, we all know the MC gangs typically have a headquarters somewhere in the story. So I would have that done. Make sure I flesh out the town really well to my liking. Maybe some homes if Jade's home happens to be something that happens a lot in the story or, you know, has a lot of influence on everything, those kind of stuff. I hope this was helpful to y'all. Do y'all have any questions on the world building cards? Is there something you would like to brainstorm? I know we're close at the top of the hour. I can stay over a few more minutes. I do have a meeting to go to in about 30 minutes, but I can still say 10 or 15 minutes if y'all have something y'all are stuck on or want to kind of brainstorm. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. That way y'all can feel free to speak up about your story. So I will hang around, but for the sake of the recording, thank you all for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and hopefully I will see you in day 3 tomorrow. Bye.